So I find that really interesting because I think that your threat, as it were, to walk away actually raised the heat, which was incentive for them to actually get the work done, to come to agreement.
Yeah, it was incentive for come to agreement, but it was also incentive for them to get along with each other and to adapt to each other and to try and understand from the standpoint of a completely different job, what the job of the chemical representative was, what the job of the government representative was, what the job of the consultant was, and and we didn't have too many members of the public participate, but every once in a while, somebody in a voluntary citizens group would come to a meeting, but they really didn't have the time or money to participate fully in this. A lot of times the government representative, of which at the time I was one, but I had to sort of put myself in a neutral role. A lot of times those of us that worked for the government, if we thought that the public was getting, tromped on in this process, we stepped forward and said, oh, no, you can't do it this way. You need to consider what the public needs because they live now near these sites. And in some respects, the federal government representatives did the same thing.
So very interesting. One is that you were representing the interests of the public. And,
that's right.
Yeah. And number two is this idea of getting the entire group to understand the job and the role of each of the individual stakeholders, I think, is a key component of collaboration.
Yeah, I completely agree. As I said earlier, I don't think some of these people had actually been in the same room with people on the quote other side and had a civilized conversation with them. A lot of times there's big disagreement about things like whatever it is, especially dramatic and emotional issues like guns, in this case, hazardous waste. There's a danger in sitting around with the other side. You might get co-opted. You might get into the hostage syndrome where, you have more in common, which is actually what happened here. They ended up with more in common with each other than they did in some cases with their stakeholder group. But that can be a good thing because they're saying, look, I've been to this foreign country and I'm telling you, these people are not all evil. They actually have some good ideas. And I saw that happen in this process over and over. And that's why it was a success, because those folks took a leadership role with their stakeholders to say, look, the other people that are working on this have some of our same interests. And I think those folks were ambassadors and they were good at convincing their people that this was going to work.
Helen, I think that's a brilliant framing in terms of they're the ambassadors and understanding, taking it back to their people that, these other people aren't evil and we actually have a shared purpose, which is a beautiful way to frame what's needed, what's necessary, especially in these days of polarized conversations.
Care, which is both technical and adaptive. So.
Right. Yeah, I do think that for us to be loyal to the model, I think there is an appreciation of the need of both, and I appreciate your calling that out. So Helen, thank you so much for your time for this interview. It's been really fun and very interesting. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you later, Helen.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.